Hey, what's going on, guys? I am Follygon, and in this video, Shane and I are continuing our collaboration by passing our sculpts off to the other person to continue working on them. A lot of fun, a lot more challenging than I thought it would be. If you haven't seen the first part, though, do make sure you go check that out for context so you can see how we started from nothing. Now we're passing them off to each other, and we're planning on doing a third part here soon, so be on the lookout for that as well. Without further ado, I guess let's just go ahead and get into the video. Start sculpting. But all right, let's do this. Part 2, here we come.
All right. So, let me see. I'm trying to remember kind of where we left off. It's been a week, I think.
Yes, it has.
Yeah. So
gotta think here for a moment.
Yeah. Just evaluating. It's interesting too because when I was working on Disney Infinity, sometimes we would hand the models off to each other depending on like the needs, you know, just if somebody had to work on something else, or it just depended on, and it was always interesting to get handed somebody else's work to see their workflow and how they did things. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. And
yes, I when I used to work full time in house, I used to have similar situations, and that was actually a very common practice at first. They would pass stuff around a lot, but a little bit while after I'd been there, people kind of realized that it was a little bit better to just like let one person kind of take something from beginning to completion, unless it was someone that was kind of new and we were training them up, and they maybe just couldn't get to a certain level or something like that.
Right.
For the most part, though, it's a lot of the time it's difficult. It's difficult.
Yeah.
To get handed something, but I think we'll be fine here.
That's the name of the game on this one, right? So
pass the sculpt.
Pass the sculpt.
It's in the title.
All right.
I am just assessing.
You know what's interesting is, I need to, but I hardly ever chop the jaw into a different poly group, and it's good practice to do it.
That's actually the first thing that I'm going to do.
Yeah, I noticed that you're doing that. And then I'm looking at the eyelids that you have in here, and I was going to ask you at what... What's that?
I said good luck.
Oh, thanks.
I don't remember what I did with them.
I was going to ask
separate
you,
mesh?
At what point do you usually add your eyelids in there, and do you join them to the head, or do you keep them separate? What do you usually do, or does it depend on the character?
Let me see here real quick. Sorry.
Yep.
technical difficulties. Opening your video back up. Yes, so I do keep the eyelids separated in the beginning while I'm just working on some basic shapes in the face. But yeah, I'll eventually merge them back into the actual head. Right. So I just use a simple curve mesh, put the eyelids in, get them nice and clean, nice and straight, and then I can get a little bit cleaner topology later by keeping them separate, just because they'll have their own poly group when I mesh them together. So using Zremesher with poly groups can be beneficial there, at least for me. Right. It is.
Yep.
Right.
I always forget to stitch them in until it's like I've already done some
a little too late.
Yeah. I'm like, oh dang it, I should have stitched those in. I always forget.
Well, depending on your eyelashes there or surrounding geometry, you have a pretty good chance of being able to hide seams a lot of the time.
Right.
So like a lot of the time, if a character is wearing clothing, I will sometimes not attach the head to the body because you can hide a seam there.
Yeah, I do that almost every time.
Right.
Whoops.
A lot of little things like that.
What did I do? Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to reopen this. I merged it and I shouldn't have. Okay. There we go. Try this again.
One more. You got it.
Because your head had subdivisions and the eyelids did not. So when I merged them, I didn't pay attention.
Oh. Yes, I have that happen quite frequently as well. So it's always fun. Or if you're, particularly it happens when I do a live Boolean. I notice, oops, those were just dynamic subdivs and nothing else. I'll fix that later.
Right.
Unfortunately, when you merge something like that, you can't get the undos back from the other mesh.
Right, because it merges them. That's why it's like, warning! What are you doing? Yeah.
It's fine. Just always merge. That's actually the one that I always leave open just in case I accidentally bump hitting the merge or delete. deletes another scary one, especially since it's right next to duplicate, nice and big too.
Right.
It's always scary.
Okay, what did I do here?
Yeah, we can take a couple minutes extra here, I think, in the beginning to get affiliated with our new characters.
Right.
Checking out some stuff here with the mouth. I think this should be fine. Let's see. Now comes the moment where we have to get quiet and think.
Uh-huh. Oh, what am I doing? Why is that going around?
I flipped all the normals on the sculpt. I triangulated the mesh.
Decimated it.
Then I decimated it. Yeah. Triangulated it again.
God.
Reflip the normals. There you go.
For some reason, this little guy doesn't want to hide. Just hide. Okay, I'm gonna have to do.
Might try an auto group.
Yeah. I was just gonna say
off
that.
By himself.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Those are always a little frustrating to deal with. Floaters. But, man, I remember when I first started using ZBrush, I would get floaters all the time. I don't know if it was just my inability, like lack of skill, or if it was more so like the program at the time just created a lot of floating geometry. But that auto groups feature was definitely something that I used all the time.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, there we go.
Not quite as much anymore.
I use it all the time still.
Right.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good stuff. It's good little. There's a lot of little tiny functions that are very helpful like that.
Right. Okay. I was just trying to split this up a little bit more. And then using... have you been using the new Zremesher much?
Oh, yeah. I actually found a really cool thing the other day with it.
Sure.
Yeah. Top secret here. Now, I actually discovered it on... I think I discovered it while I was streaming. So, if you take a look here at my screen, so if you've ever had a piece of geometry like this that's all jagged, and then you just try to remesh it, so an open face polygon, for whatever reason you're trying to remesh it to make it a little more clean, Zremesher hates this kind of stuff.
Yes.
Or at least it used to. It has gotten a little bit better. So what I used to do in the past was I would do an edge loop and just, because it's fast, I just click on group loops really quick and it'd at least clean up the jaggedness of the edge. These are a little bit big, so it's not doing it. You'd have to up polish quite a bit. But then you could run a Zremesh on that and it would do pretty good. But I found the other day that the whatever is changed here in Zremesh, I literally just ran a default Zremesh on this, and that poly count's probably way too high. But it ended up giving me a completely clean edge there.
Wow.
And then I tried it a little bit later, and it completely destroyed the mesh.
Really?
But actually there you can see that it did give a semi-clean face there. If I delete everything and probably drop the poly count, it might do a little bit of a better job. But the geometry was really jagged, just like this. I was like, hey, why not? Let's just try it. Zremesh, boom, it worked. I was blown away.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
Wow.
I don't know if it's going to do it right now. Like I said, I tried it twice. The first time it was amazing. The second time, the mesh exploded everywhere. You win some, you lose some.
Right. I always say Zremesher is a little bit like herding cats. Or like a box of chocolates even. You never know what you're going to get, kind of a thing.
Right. Not quite this time. It doesn't look like it's going to do exactly what we want. Try one more little finicky trick here.
Oops. Okay, some of this is
not being your friend.
Mm-mm.
I told you I'd make it tough on you.
Let's see. I'm just trying to get a good group in the upper mouth here. There we go. That should be able to auto group it. There we go.
So you left me with a lot less work. You got most of the stuff down here. You got I gave you a pretty large homework assignment.
It's fine. I dig it. Sorry if I went too far.
No, you're very quick. As I mentioned during our last session here, I'm very slow when it comes to this kind of stuff, as I just sit here and nudge things.
Yeah.
2 inches at a time, like just a couple pixels.
Just a little nudge. Let's see.
But I mean, it works eventually. You get there.
For sure. All right.
The tough thing with that guy is obviously that he only has a single profile image to work from.
Right,
so you have to infer quite a bit of information about the shape of his head from the front.
I really love his expression too. He's just like,
oh, it's very derpy right now.
Right.
Very construction.
Right. I mean, in the actual image.
Oh, he's got an awesome expression.
Yeah, he's almost like.
So does this character. All of Luigi's characters do.
This one kind of looks like he's waiting in line for something that he's excited about, or
He is waiting in line. Like, look at him. He is like the key demographic for an Apple product.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Underneath that sweatshirt, It has a big giant S, but instead of Superman, it says Steve Jobs under it. I can just picture it. This expression's really awesome too.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to tweak it asymmetrically. All right, I'm just trying to get some better loops around his face, around his lips. Not that I need to. All right, I'll try that.
When you are sculpting by yourself, are you like a music guy?
Oh yeah.
What do you do? What's your thing? What's your jam?
So I'm usually in one of 3 moods.
Okay. What do we got?
So it's either, if I'm in a nostalgic mood, it's like 80s synth.
Ooh, very
like,
nice.
That's because I was an 80s kid, and it's like, Howard Jones and Thompson Twins and all that stuff. And then if I'm in a lot of times when I was doing Infinity figures, I would be working on film figures. So like Pirates of the Caribbean, stuff like that.
Oh, trying to get in like the mood with the theme, like music from the film.
Totally load in the soundtrack and listen to it.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, so that was kind of fun.
I've surprisingly never done that with any property.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never had that idea. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's just kind of fun. But then but you're sculpting on it for quite a while, so then it starts to get boring and you change it up.
It's a little old.
Yeah,
I can see that,
but so sometimes I'll save it till the end, so when I'm doing
the finishing touches.
Right.
You got the nice crescendo. It feels right.
Right. And then the third mood is like it's almost like, what would you call it? Like modern synth, like BT and
BT.
Yeah, BT. Brian, I can't remember his last name. Cascade.
I don't know if I'm familiar.
Yeah, it's
maybe if I heard it.
It's kind of like techno, but not as repeaty and more ambient, and not as many words. I mean, some of them have words, but when something has too many words, it gets lost on me and I get distracted. Right. So it's like, no, I don't want words.
That's funny. I'm like the opposite. I either go full serial killer mode and listen to nothing but my own thoughts.
Okay.
Or I just listen to podcasts.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, podcasts work pretty good.
I'm a big podcast boy.
So what kind of podcasts?
I listen to a lot of the big popular ones, like My Brother and Me.
What is that?
It is a podcast of 3 brothers called the McElroy Brothers, and it's just a comedy advice podcast.
Okay.
It's good stuff. I actually got to see them live in Cincinnati.
Oh, cool.
For my birthday a month ago.
Oh, nice.
So that was a lot of fun.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Cincinnati.
Yeah. Not much here, but every once in a while we get lucky.
Nice.
But yeah, other than that, I listen to some D&D podcasts.
Oh, you do?
Listening probably.
Are you into D&D?
I am, but I don't play
Okay.
it very often.
Okay.
Just because the type of D&D that I like is not very rules heavy, but more. I really enjoyed like the story, like the aspect of group storytelling.
Okay.
I think that's really cool and interesting.
So do you watch Critical Role?
I listen to Critical Role,
Okay.
but I don't listen to it very often.
Ah.
I listen to another one all the time called The Adventure Zone, which is another
Adventure
production
Zone.
by the McElroys.
Okay.
Who do My Brother, and Me.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I've recently gotten into another one called Mission to Zix, which is a what's the word? Improv comedy podcast.
Uh-huh.
I love improv. I think
Nice.
it's so much fun as like a group podcast type of experiment.
Uh-huh.
And it just has obsessively engineered audio, so it's like
Oh, nice.
you feel like you're in outer space.
Okay. That's funny.
But yeah, that's about it. Other than that, a lot of the time I will just kind of sit in silence because I can work a lot faster when I'm
that's
very like concentrating very, very hard. It's why when I stream, I typically say that I sculpt about like half speed, maybe even slower.
Oh yeah, same. Yeah, when I'm talking, I mean, it's weird. I have a knack for talking and sculpting at the same time. I don't know why, but a lot
of practice.
I guess so.
You're on episode what?
Almost
on your streams?
Well, almost
100.
Almost 100. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's
cool.
pretty crazy. Thanks. What was I going to say? But it's funny because I would catch myself wearing my headphones and not listening to anything. Just like the comfort of them being on and then just ignoring everything.
That's funny.
Just kind of, yeah. Okay.
I would do that at work back in the day.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's time to concentrate, but I don't want to listen to things and I don't want people to talk to me.
Yeah.
I need to work.
Yep. I'm going. Leave me alone. Okay, here we go. This is my experiment on this guy's face.
Good luck. Good luck, sir.
Thanks. Oh, I think I am going to split these eyelids off for a moment until I get some loops.
Lots of jaggies.
Well, until I get some loops going on, and then I'll stitch them in and do it again. So let's split these off.
That looks like something that ZBrush is not going to like.
Yeah, we'll see. You know, sometimes, like you said, sometimes it surprises you.
Yep,
and other times,
absolutely.
just like...
It can straight up just be something weird with like the poly count that you do, like remesh at.
Yeah,
You can like mess with it like by 0.01 units, and it's like it's a completely different result.
Right. Sometimes you just get those bonkers, like even rogue polys that it'll assign polygroups to. You're just like, where did that come from?
Yeah. I've never understood that one where you just get a random polygroup out of nowhere. It's like, how? Why?
Keep groups. Let's try. It's like the default with keep groups. We'll see. Ta-da.
That's pretty much all I do. It's just keep groups most of the time.
Yeah, see like this stuff behind the ear? Can you see this?
Yeah.
Just a mess.
It doesn't make sense.
It's like, what happened here? All right. Whatever. Okay, so let's go a little bit lower. Sometimes, Joseph Drust will take it higher, and then he'll split it in half. So using this half button, which is kind of interesting
to do it.
And then he'll also mess with the smoothing groups. So
if anybody would know, it would be Joseph Drust.
It would be, yeah. He's the guy.
Joe or Paul?
Yep. I got to hang out with them quite a bit at the New York City Toy Fair this year. That
sounds
fun.
like so much fun.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the post for that. I remember seeing the I can't remember the name of the wheelchair charity.
Yeah, we hung out with them too.
Uh-huh. That looked so cool.
Yeah.
That looked like an awesome little project.
Right. It was cool. The magic wheelchair.
Magic wheelchair, that's what it's called.
James. I think his name's James. I suck with names. So James, I think it's his name. If he's watching this, I apologize. But
hello, James.
Yep, hello.
Hopefully, James.
James in the magic wheelchair. Let's see.
I actually did see the magic wheelchair at a Cincinnati convention.
Ah.
Which was very cool. I'd seen a bunch of their their little projects online.
Uh-huh.
It's just cool. It's cool to see stuff like that in person when you go to a convention, or like seeing a person that you've spoken with online many times, and then you finally meet them. It's like, wow, you're real. You're a ding dang human just like me.
Yep, they had a booth at the ZBrush Summit last year.
Nice.
And that's when I first met him and talked to him. Oh my goodness, I can't remember the guy's name. I'm trying to look it up. I think it's either... it's not James. Gosh dang it.
Most people are terrible with names. I am as well,
horrible.
so don't feel too bad.
But he's a super cool guy. Hung out with him. And Paul, Joseph.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay. So I subdivided this. I'm going to try it again. Because I wasn't getting the results I wanted with super low. So we'll see what happens. Da-dun.
Yeah.
Oh, that's better. Okay. That's a little better.
Actually, that worked pretty well.
Yeah.
There you go. There. It's always one little step at a time.
Yep. It's like, let's try this. Okay. Then let's get this rounded out a little bit more. So you still use the transpose tool a lot?
I pretty much exclusively use the transpose line. I only use the 3D gizmo for like the deformers.
Oh really? Oh, crazy.
I love the transpose line.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's like my favorite tool. I know everybody was so thirsty for the 3D gizmo. But I just really like the transpose line. I got used to using it.
Yep.
And there's like a lot of cool little things that you can do with it that, if you know how to do.
Right.
A lot faster. I used to use it a lot back when I was 3D printing all the time for my life-size stuff that I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Just for like little things like to make sure that your print is level with your bed. You can just draw out a quick transpose line. And typically you have like a flat piece of geo that you're going to print on if you're like slicing your geometry correctly to be printed. But it has to be perfectly flat. And a clip function in ZBrush actually takes care of that very nicely. So you can we would just like use the ability to snap to a surface with the transpose line. Click, and it clips it just a little bit higher. But for like a real world print, it's an indiscriminate value.
Oh yeah.
But in ZBrush, it's enough to make all polys perfectly flat.
Nice.
So you don't have any problems there.
Super cool.
So if you're doing 3D printing, transpose line. Check it out.
Yeah, I did. So when I made that ruler file, have you seen my ruler file?
I have seen it. Yes.
So this ruler,
I haven't looked at it very closely though.
So this ruler is for printing. It's a 200 millimeter tall ruler, and the reason I bring it up is because if it has something that I set up the transpose line to match. To match.
That's not 200 units. That's 200.2478 units according to ZBrush. So if you measure an object with the transpose line, it will never give you the exact number that you put. It'll always be like 0.0001 off by a decimal. Like it's just a little thing.
Like this.
It's
199.998 units.
That's what I got.
Yep. Oh yeah, you're looking at it there. So, but what I was going to show you though was if you get close on the transpose line and the ruler, look at this. See these little ticks?
Does it line up with the ticks?
Yep. I set the ticks up.
Oh, wow, nice. Look at you.
And then on the background, see, it's more than just a ruler. So if you turn on the grid on the background, the grid lines up with the centimeters. And then the transpose line is the millimeters.
Dang, you're fancy. Look at you.
Joseph Drust and we both worked on this a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I bugged him until I got it to work. So I made that so I could go back and forth between Maya and
okay.
Because GoZ wouldn't it just adds extra stuff that I don't like, and it was a little unpredictable, now and again, and so I'm just like, all right, I need something that's more predictable, and I like OBJ because it's clean, or FBX.
As do I.
Yeah, and so I'm just like,
it's like I just need the mesh. I don't need any of the other.
yeah.
stuff
I
that
don't
comes
want
with it.
I don't want materials. I don't want any of that stuff. I just need what I need.
Yep. I'm the same way.
So, but I hated the scale difference between the two. So I worked with Joseph. And,
Yeah, I think it does like 100 units or something because it if I remember right, it does it based on centimeters. I want to say.
Yeah,
I think that's their default value. I don't remember.
Yeah, if you go back and forth with the ruler, the export is set to 100. So
Oh, gotcha.
It's just
Well, there you go.
But
you got it perfect.
the thing you have to worry about or be concerned about, I guess, is if you're using the ruler file when it uses that same export value. I don't know if you knew this, going between from Z tool to Z tool. So if you want to append something,
yes,
it will use that scale.
It was a long time before I found out why that was happening.
And I'm just like, oh man, it's using the scale.
That's so funny that you say that. Scale in ZBrush, it takes a long time to understand like all facets of it, but once you get it, ZBrush is amazing for setting up 3D prints.
Right.
So any print that I ever set up, I'll do it in ZBrush just because I have a very good grasp of that. Pretty much at all points when I am setting stuff up, unless the scale of an object is going to be huge, just because units are units in ZBrush, it doesn't matter what they are. I always recommend that you set your export scale to 1 when importing or exporting anything, just so you keep everything like in control of where you have it. But if you understand what you're doing, you can absolutely just like go crazy with it and change it as much as you want.
Right.
And it won't matter too much. But yeah, that's very frustrating when you don't know what's happening and you're getting lots of scale issues like that.
Right.
I know the feeling.
Okay, I'm going to just try and stitch these eyelids in and see what happens.
I wish you luck.
Thank you. I should probably save it. Whoops. Because you never know. All right. Here we go. Stitch. Do you ever use Remesh by Union?
I do not. At least not very often.
So check
but
it out.
It is a very cool function.
It stitches these things in.
That's new with the deformers, if I remember correct, right? Yeah, it's a pretty nice tool.
I just kind of stumbled across it one day. I'm just like, I could just stitch this stuff in. Wow.
Evolve my workflow. Now I just refuse to change. Now I every new version of ZBrush, I try to reassess the tools as much as I can and try to figure out some points where I can change my workflow.
Yeah, I'll do that occasionally. You know, I did my course, and just speaking of the transpose line, I did my entire course using the transpose line, and then they released the gizmo. And so like the week after I released it, it's like, oh, it's outdated now. Dang it.
Or I had an older course that I was working on for a long time, and right after I was about to release that little package, ZBrush 2018 got released. So it went from 4R8 P2 or whatever to 2018. So the naming convention was completely off, and it's just, and a lot of new tools got introduced with that. Right. So it's a lot.
Thanks, Pixelogic.
Thank you for the new tools.
Yep.
I will use these eventually.
No, I appreciate it when they add that new stuff, but yeah, sometimes it's just like, what'd you do that for?
What were you thinking? Couldn't you go by my schedule?
Yeah, now I gotta teach it all over again. Okay, this is taking
set up a couple things.
Yeah, this is taking forever to set up. Sometimes it does, and it's funny because it looks way ugly until you get it done.
Yeah, it's
as far as being,
you got to be comfortable with the ugly.
Yep.
It took me a while before I was totally fine with just handing you off some garbage. I don't care. You know what it's like.
Mm-hmm. I need that on a t-shirt. get comfortable with the ugly.
Yeah. I'm ugly and I'm proud.
Yeah, Ryan Kingsland calls it the Valley of the Suck.
Yes,
stay there for a while. I remember
you mentioning that.
Yeah.
It's a good place to be.
Yeah. Every model goes through it. Okay, let's try this again with Zremesher. I bet it'll crash now. Not crash, but not give good results. We'll see. Fingers crossed. Not too bad, but it totally got rid of the lower eyelids almost. Oh my goodness. Okay. That's smooth groups. That's what happens with smooth groups. It will. Yeah, it kind of sucks the air out of the balloon.
I don't know if that's the polish feature that does that, if it's similar to that algorithm.
A little.
Polish tends to destroy a lot of my stuff.
Yeah. You can also do keep edges. Where is that? That's a new one. Detect edges. And sometimes it'll hold on to it more. Gosh. It's just destroying it. I think what I'm going to do, I lean too much on Sculptress Pro now. I think I'm just going to Sculptress Pro the crap out of it.
Do it.
Do it.
Try it out. Let me know how it goes.
All right. Here we go. Sculptress Pro.
I am skipping ahead and doing some eye painting for a little bit.
Oh yeah, you need that. You need that placement.
Right, figure out a couple things. I find it very helpful.
Yeah, even if it's like even just a black disc like this.
Right.
Just for direction, and eyelid placement too. It helps a lot with.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, that's. You were talking about how color has weight.
Mm-hmm.
During our last session,
right?
And in particular with eyelashes, that's like huge thing, at least in my experience. Helps a lot to get those in.
I think I want to uncrispify these brows a little bit.
Uncrispify, is that a
just take the
Shane Olson original?
Sure. Just take the crispy edge off. There we go.
I'm into it.
There we go.
Get a little warble back in.
Yeah, warbles.
Yeah.
You see that the warble I made? I had one of my Illustrator friends concept me up what a warble would look like if it was a creature.
Oh, I've not seen this.
Oh no? Here, I'll open it really fast.
Is it a 2D file? Like, did you sculpt this?
I sculpted it, yeah.
Oh, nice. I definitely want to see this.
There we go.
Oh, I have seen this. I didn't know that's what the warble was.
Yeah.
Yes, that's awesome. I love that.
I want to set him up for animation. I have an animator that wants to animate him, so I want him to animate him chewing on a mesh, making it all warbly.
That's great. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love that. It looks really cool too.
Oh, thanks. All right. Yeah, sometimes I like crispy eyebrows, super sharp. Sometimes you want them soft, supple.
Do you always do a separate mesh for your eyebrows?
Uh-huh. Yep.
I pretty much always do as well.
Yeah. The only time I don't, yeah, I usually do. I was going to say the only time I don't is if they're super duper light and I just paint them in,
Right.
That's the only time.
Depends on the style, I guess.
Right.
There's never a all case way of choosing those things.
Right.
Which is why I feel like I'm always so bad at answering questions for people when they ask stuff about ZBrush, because I get asked a question, I'm like, oh man, I can think of like 10 different ways to do that.
which way do I go into and explain? Yeah. Right. And it's funny because more times or more often than not, I will start explaining a way that to do something, and they're like,
and then you change your idea.
No. Like somebody else will say, well, why don't you just do it this way? And I'm like, well, I could, but I'm showing you this way. It's usually like,
yes, there's always a million ways to do everything.
Right.
Annoyingly so. But honestly, I mean, that's why, just between the two of us, we do pretty similar stuff, but our workflows are completely different.
Yeah, for sure.
In terms of the types of tools that we use and
right, how to get to the place that you're going.
You run a race, but you get to make your own path.
Right. It kind of reminds me.
Some are longer, some are shorter.
Kind of reminds me.
Some have lots of really tall hills.
Right. It reminds me of those bathtub races, It's like
Oh.
just bring all these different bathtubs,
Oh gosh.
different ways to get there.
That's not what I thought you meant. Wait, it said a bathtub race. What is this?
Well, you get in a bathtub that
Yeah.
has wheels and race it down a hill.
Oh my god. This is an actual thing?
Yeah, but people decorate them all sorts of different ways, and
That sounds awesome.
it's like,
Where does this happen?
I don't know. I've never seen one live. I've just seen them. Like, I can't remember where.
Saw it in a movie once.
Saw it in a movie. You had to be there. Yeah, it's just, I find it hilarious because they all dress up, and sometimes it's like a sleigh riding version, on snow, and they'll just like try and race these tubs down these hills or different, I don't know, just different vehicles, sleds. Anyway, I don't know why I thought about that.
I've never raced a bathtub. So. Some people run while they sculpt. Some people slide a bathtub down the hill. Yeah, it's got wheels, so.
Right.
How's he hanging over there? How are things coming?
I'm just trying to get his mouth closed up right now so I can get some expression happening. There are some brushes that I just don't like Sculptress mode on. Inflate being one of them.
And why is that?
It just kind of destroys it as you're inflating, because usually when you use inflate, you use a large brush.
Very soft value, but I feel like if you do that, it probably lowers your resolution a lot.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I need to harness the power of Sculptress Pro as far as because I don't ever dig into the tessellate and decimate, things that it has, mm-hmm. like what brush does what level of density, I guess.
Oh yeah, you can control all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never really delved into that too deeply.
Yeah, I know it's possible and easily possible. Right. I don't know. I'm just lazy, I guess. I don't know.
Hey, if it's not broke.
Yeah, so I'll just turn it off for a minute, move things around, and then get back to it.
All right, it's time to give your gal some hair.
Yeah.
Some brows and such.
Has to happen at some point. I think that's where her personality will really kick in.
Yeah, I can't wait to break symmetry. Now, when you're sculpting hair, mm-hmm. pretty much what I always do is I break symmetry immediately. Mm-hmm. I'll do like a really quick base shape, but then I try to break sim as quick as possible, just because I feel like hair feels really awkward when it's symmetrical, and it just messes with my head and it doesn't look good to begin with.
Yep. That's exactly what I do. And sometimes if I ever do symmetry in the hair, it's only like around the sideburn area, like around the ears, maybe a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
And that's it. Yeah, not around the forehead. You can tell if people just are just like, I'm just going to throw it together symmetrically, and it always looks like it, So don't do it, kids.
Some nice geometry we got going on here. Have you ever... I don't know if it's a problem, exactly what causes it, but you get the little artifacts that stick on your screen.
Oh, like those little... Okay, so, yeah. I know what it is.
I just get those... do you know what causes that? So, sometimes it's live Boolean. Sometimes...
So
you can clear the layer, and you rub your mesh around it, and it'll make them go away.
Yeah, so
it's just strange.
ZBrush is, and it always has been, and it probably always will be, a 2.5D program.
Right, yeah.
Is whenever your mesh is not being rotated, it's a 2D image with Z depth. So
right. No, I understand that, but I'm not sure why these random artifacts just tend to stick around. I guess it's just
it's just from that
part of that.
Yeah,
part of that magic.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like when you translate your mesh that's kind of close to the edge, and sometimes it'll leave this kind of smear. Same reason.
Love it. All right, this is not doing what I want it to do. I have not been having very good luck with Zremesher during this session.
Yeah, it's already 4 o'clock. Well, my time. What time is it your time? You're East Coast, yeah?
Yes, it is 6 o'clock here.
6.
Yeah.
That was interesting going to New York in the New York City Toy Fair and the time difference. I've never been to New York before. Oh. And so I was like, oh, okay, this is different. I mean, even though it's just 4 hours. Or sorry, 3 hours. It was good. It was fun.
How long were you there?
Just the weekend, essentially, like 3 days. Yeah.
So did you have time to get around and see anything?
Yeah. So I did some training at Lego. So Lego, just a little north of New York. Yeah.
I think their headquarters is somewhere in Europe or something.
Yeah. I think is it Dutch?
I'm not sure.
And yes, but they do. So those large scale Lego builds that you see around that promote things. So they have a team here in the U.S. that builds those for U.S. installations. Very cool. They're based out of there. And they wanted. So I
assume they were at the toy fair.
Actually, not this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Lego was, but not these. These guys. They had some builds there, but they weren't physically there. These guys. Gotcha. So, but they wanted to.
What a cool job!
Yeah, right. Lego. It's like they're seriously Lego master builders, like from the movie, but they're real. But it's funny because they glue them together, so they're like Mr. Business and a Lego master builder.
They get so large, I feel like you would have to.
Oh yeah, for sure. Getting hung up on this ear for some reason. I'm just like having fun detailing out this ear. Sculpt Pro can be really fun as far as not running out of geometry, like with Zremesher. But at the same time, it's really easy to introduce the warbles to your mesh. So you have to be super careful.
You have to be super controlled. Same with just Dynamesh in general. Mm-hmm. It's depending on your resolution. I guess with Sculpt Pro, resolution doesn't matter, but with Dynamesh, you just gotta be careful the whole time, or else you will regret it.
You'll regret it.
Or else.
Yeah, it's something I don't recommend to my students until they're way down the line. It's like, because you can get too detailed too quickly, and then all of a sudden you're in the weeds and don't know how to back out.
Right. The way I actually work with Dynamesh is that oh crap, I messed up. Got extra masks.
I done messed up.
Typically when I Dynamesh, I use the geometry. Like I just butcher it because I don't care. And then I just use a lot of slice curves later on to create polyloops and Zremesh and force the geometry where I want it.
Nice.
So Dynamesh is like just this terrible monstrosity of geometry that exists as just a means to an end.
Right.
I don't care exactly what it looks like. It's just like, get me where I need to go quick.
Yeah. Because I know I'm going to fix you later.
Right.
Thing. Yeah.
My ugly child here will be correct later on. Just got to get some of this stuff in.
That's kind of how, Sculpt Pro is exactly the same way. Because you're just like, all right, because with Sculpt Pro, you get all these little artifacts, these little triangles and everything everywhere. And you just have to look past them. Because as long as your forms are there, it doesn't matter.
Right.
And you can come in and fix them later. But I've been enjoying Sculpt Pro more and more the more I use it.
You're starting to convince me. I'll have to play around with it a little more.
Well, I mean,
it's not something that I've spent a ton of time on.
Yeah. So for a while, sorry, I keep talking about my course, but in my course, I teach the Dynamesh method. So I teach the block out with giant primitives and then Dynamesh it together and then just keep going, like you were explaining. But recently, I've kind of changed my pipeline up a little bit since the new Zremesher came out. Well, before that, actually, to stitch it together and then make the workflow work in my favor, and then just keep it going. But I found that using that method, I run out of geometry a lot.
Okay.
So especially around the nose, like where I'm working now, and around the ear, you just kind of, it's almost like you're trying to clean a tile floor or something. You just kind of work yourself into a corner. And it's like, now what? Where do I go? This is all clean. I don't want to walk across it, So you just kind of get stuck and you don't know where to go with it, kind of a thing. So with Sculptress Pro, and with Dynamesh, frankly, but with Dynamesh rebuilds your entire surface every time if you do stretch your geometry out and you run out of geometry, it's going to rebuild your entire mesh. But with Sculptress Pro, it won't. You can just, you're just digging in there and adding more geometry as you need it, and smoothing it out or decimating it as you don't, which is nice. So kind of cool.
I will. So the thing is, and I know understand this as well with all the stuff you got going on.
Yeah.
It's just hard to find or make time. I hate when I say find time.
Yeah.
It's hard to make time to like try to switch things up like that. It's such a big thing too.
Oh yeah.
But I will definitely play around with it a bit more.
Yeah, it's more about experimenting with it. It's like what really got me going on it is I think you were in the beta when it was when they introduced it, right? Were you in the
yes.
Okay. So yeah, I was too, and that sphere challenge?
No, I wasn't in that.
You weren't in that one. Okay.
I was in the one after that.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So I was in the sphere challenge beta, and
I do know about the sphere challenge though.
Yeah.
That was a cool little thing.
So I did this scorpion on a ball, and just it just kind of forced me to just let go of everything as far as workflow and all that kind of stuff, because I couldn't block it out with primitives. I couldn't do anything. I just had to start with a sphere and then build a scorpion on the sphere from the sphere without ruining the sphere. So that was just like super challenging, but really fun. So
maybe I'll try something like that.
Yeah. And there's
to get initiated. It's always good to have little projects for people, I think, to help get them invested in a tool. Just to help put in that time, just because it requires often so much more time than you actually think it will.
Yes, for sure. All right. Hey, she's coming together. Nice.
Yeah, getting some more parts and pieces on there.
Nice. I like her little jowls. Her little,
the
little lip
she's got
fat.
some nice hard lines down there right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'll do with those. I'll definitely soften them out, but it'll be more so once we break Sim.
Yeah.
She's got a lot of cool stuff going on in her mouth for sure.
All right. I think his hair is going to help him out too. Really getting it in there. Okay, let's see. I do think I want to draw some spheres in here and then Sculptress Pro it out. We good times. Oh, multi-subdiv.
Are you talking about the hair?
Yeah.
I'm
gonna do a bunch of spheres in there.
Interesting one.
I'm gonna do it symmetrical for a minute here.
It's kind of like a broccoli texture.
Yeah. Well, I did a guy with some dreadish type hair like this before.
Okay.
And I used noise, and it worked pretty well as far as the
like a really large noise would probably do pretty well.
Get the surface
Makes
texture.
sense.
It was pretty cool. Just gonna draw these in and then push them in. There we go. Sphere hat. Spherehat.com.
Heck yeah. I'm going to buy that right now.
Oh, what the... sometimes it does this. Have you ever seen this? Look at this. Why?
No.
What the...
Oh, you know what? Oh my gosh. That's so weird that you mentioned that. Somebody, my girlfriend's friend, an old classmate of her, had an old ZBrush file, and symmetry was just completely broken on
Really?
it, beyond repair. I tried everything I could think of. I sat on the phone with him for like 45 minutes, and I was like, okay, we're going to try this and this and this. I could not get it to work.
No
Essentially
way.
what was happening was something very similar to that.
That's crazy. I just did a mirror and weld and it fixed it.
Yeah. I tried everything. I could not get it
crazy.
to work. Essentially what was happening was all brushes would mirror correctly except for the move brush. So it would grab geometry and pull up and pull to the right. And instead of the geometry going away from the x-axis on the other side as it should, if you pulled away from it on one side, it went in the same direction.
Oh, weird.
It was this, I'd never seen anything like it. He said it was an older Z tool or ZBrush project that he imported from maybe back in 2017. So something there, but I don't know what it was.
Oh, my goodness. That's nuts.
At first when I was looking at it, I was like, symmetry's working. I don't know. And then I was like, whoa, that's okay. That's weird. That's not supposed to happen. I never did figure it out. Actually, I did. I forced him to export it as an OBJ and re-import it.
I was just going to say, that'll clear anything off.
That was the only thing that worked.
Because OBJ just forgets everything that's happening with it. It's just like, all right, mesh only. Well, OBJ object.
That was the only thing that did it, though.
Crazy.
Such a weird one. My favorite little glitches in ZBrush are the visual artifacts. I don't get them very often, but I'm sure you're aware of them when you get essentially that rainbow pattern.
Rainbow.
Okay. Maybe you don't know. I keep
probably
like
see
a
it
folder. You just get rid of it immediately, I'm sure.
Maybe.
Let me see here. I used to have... Here you go. Here's an old one.
Oh.
So you can see.
What in the world?
Right, yeah. It doesn't happen very often, but whenever it does, I take a screenshot. I have a couple videos of it as well from streams when it randomly happens. Because it's so rare and random, and I'm like, oh, this is so cool. I don't know what it is. It's like a weird, like, normal read of the mesh. Something to do with that underlaying 2.5D stuff going on.
Right. Wow, weird. I love that chicken, though. Yeah. He's great.
Yeah, hey.
Yeah.
From Moana. Right. He's a fun character. Yeah, Disney does a good job.
They're all right.
Them character designs. Even the simple stuff. Yep. I like quite a lot.
He's looking a little popcorn head. So I'm going to merge popcorn head. Yeah, I think something about it's working. I need to make these just not so round. Make them have kind of mushroomish weight to them.
A mushroom weight.
Mushroomish.
Get the little underswoop there.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm talking about.
I do. Get that gravity.
Yep.
Just a little.
So it's got some direction instead of just a sphere. I'm going to have to get the name of that podcast from you again.
Oh, for D&D. Sure. Which one?
The D&D one you listen to.
Are you a big D&D fan?
Yeah, I play once a month.
If I
can, with a group. We're thinking about going live with it, but I don't know. I don't know if we will.
That sounds awesome.
Because the DM is really good. He does a bunch of voices and stuff, and really good storyteller. And
do you guys get together physically, or is it more of just like an online thing?
So it started with a bunch of guys from Avalanche, and then just a bunch of us D&D nerds, and then so all of us would just get together at his name's Rich, his house, and he is a huge Disney fan himself, and so his whole basement is full of Disney paraphernalia stuff.
Gotcha.
From like old Disney stuff. Which is it was always fun to go to his place. He's a huge fan of Disneyland. More than anything. And so he had a whole bunch of stuff that had to deal with the rides. just kind of like a big picture of the pictures inside the haunted house elevator on his wall. Just things like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I actually went to Disney World.
Recently. Same deal.
And I got to do the haunted house, the haunted mansion. Yeah. That elevator is
the stretching cool. elevator.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. So anyway, he ended up moving because he worked for EA here in town for a while, and then they shut down. So he had to look elsewhere, and he found a job in San Diego. So he's in San Diego now.
Okay.
And he's our DM, and he is the only one that's digital now. So we get him on a camera on Zoom, just like this kind of, and then
nice.
And then we just have a map that we draw on out in front of us, and there's 5 of us that play.
Wow. Like five players and the DM?
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of work for him.
Yeah. But he does a really great job. And then he writes up the story after. So like he's essentially writing a novel based on the stories that we create from it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That's so cool. Yeah, I like D&D a lot, but like I said, I don't really play it too often.
It's a lot of fun.
But I absolutely would if I had people to play with.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends are interested in playing. It's just so I do board game night every Wednesday, pretty much. But we play like a ton of other board games just because we're always grabbing new ones, whatever's hot.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Nice.
For a while, we were playing a giant board game called Gloomhaven.
I just barely bought that not too long ago. And
so large, in fact, that we have been playing it for over a year.
Oh, really?
It's a very, very big board game. My other group of friends that I have been playing Gloomhaven for over 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And they have just purchased the new expansion that came out.
Oh, did it come out?
There's a new expansion,
Oh, wow. Okay. Crazy.
But we play board games every Wednesday. Ton of fun. I love board games.
Yeah.
It's like the board game renaissance right now, if you don't know.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool. So I bought the wooden insert thing for mine that makes the 17-pound game weigh even more. But it's a lot of fun. Play it with my kids. The thing I love about Gloomhaven is you're not stuck with a certain party of people every time. So you can, people can come and go, and it doesn't really change it much. You're still expanding the town and things like that. So pretty cool.
Mix and match.
Yeah. Pretty cool. All right, let me just check these proportions. Man, I didn't even start on his hoodie yet.
I haven't done any clothing either. I've just been doing a lot of things to try to get the character a little bit closer. Like lots of little nudges here and there.
Yeah, she's looking
as
great.
per my specialty.
Nudge Meister.
Should have been my username. Nudging Gun. Could have got
Nudge Gun.
I'll buy the URL after this. Make sure nobody else swoops. Well, there's a lot more, of course, that we can do. How are you feeling right now?
Well, I'm feeling like, as far as his face goes, he's starting to get there.
He's a toughie.
There's a lot of stuff I need to smooth out, and just to get, because he's not feeling like the guy yet.
Right.
So I need to keep pushing on it, so you can get him to feel more like the guy. And like I said, I think color is going to have a lot to do with it once I get that in there. Oh,
for sure. That's color, and when I add hair, any kind of large additional change like that, that's when you immediately notice, like, oh, wow, how did I not see this?
Yeah.
Like 10 new things to fix.
Yep, it's like...
I put hair on this character. Go ahead.
I was just going to say it's like add, compare, add, compare, add, compare.
Oh, right.
That's basically the whole workflow.
Yeah, as soon as I put the hair on her, I was like, oh wow, her forehead's just way taller than what I thought it was.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, we gotta get some more height there. And she's very flat on the top of her head as well.
Oh
You
yeah,
can imagine what's going on inside of there. She's got a very square head in general.
Right, and keeping that shape language throughout, like just that squareness going on. Super cool.
Yeah, when you can't exactly figure out a shape, just understanding the shape language of your character can really help you revolve a form in 3D.
Right.
If you can't see it.
Because then you can you can kind of figure out what's behind there without actually seeing it.
Right.
I think I need to change a little bit of this from the front. I like the cone shape that you have going like this,
Change away, go crazy.
But I'm trying to... I almost want to kind of make his jaw larger from the front.
Do it.
And then shrink his head in this direction like this. Do it.
I'm not going to stop you. He is your character right now.
It's funny. I always tell people like during the stream and stuff. It's like, when a character is starting to be successful if they start to make you crack up.
Yeah. Absolutely. So you know things are working. Yes, I already like it. I'm liking the changes.
Just kind of heavier in the jaw, and then kind of smaller. Because and here's what I'm taking from is like the distance between the back of his head to his forehead versus the back of his neck to his chin.
To that chin.
You can just kind of carry
poof that out
all the way around.
Absolutely.
Right.
Starts to look very tapered or squashed from the front.
Right.
He probably still feels a little bit squashed from the front, in my opinion.
Uh-huh.
So he maybe even needs to get a little wider around the cheekbones or something like that. Is what I was.
Yeah, like
what I was thinking.
Maybe.
That was like the biggest thing when we were done. I was like, man, there's obviously a billion things that I want to do to this, but I was like, you got
I'll
it.
get some weight going on up in here. Some cheek.
But yes. Feel free to shout out anything that you notice with this gal or anything that stood out to you.
Let me check it out.
In terms of big changes. That's what we're here for.
The only thing I notice is her smile lines going. Yes. I would taper them down near the lips a little more. So I learned this from David Boudreau, if you know who he is.
Not off the top of my head. I'd probably recognize their work.
So David Boudreau is an amazing caricature artist, an animator, like traditional animator, and he makes Muppets, like puppets.
Interesting.
And he's one of the best caricature artists I've ever seen.
Awesome.
But I modeled one of his, and he was kind enough to give me some feedback. Yeah, right
awesome.
there. That's what I was talking about. And one of the things was don't ever close off any of your shapes. So, like, let them. If there was water in there, give them a space to leak out. If that makes sense. So, like,
interesting.
Like, if, for example, see how you have her lower eyelids. That's perfect. So, see how it has a crease towards the insides of the eyes, and then it tapers and kind of feathers out as they go out. That's exactly what you would want to do. What you would not want to do is take that lower eyelid all the way up and around and up to the eyebrow. You connect it.
Gotcha.
That's like a closed shape. I mean, you can hint at it with like a plane change, but not necessarily like a really crispy hard edge. You want to like feather that hard edge out.
I see.
So
I like it.
So yeah, so like that crispy smile line you have coming down, and then feather it out as it gets closer to the lips. Bam. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then you don't have a closed shape.
That's actually something I call here specifically edge quality, just meaning that you never want to have a let's see here, just grab you never want to have like that's not very visible. We'll do this. You never want to have a shape, and you know this, I'm sure, with stroking, like just sculpting. You never just draw like you would with a mouse, where it's like the same strength all the way through.
Right.
You feather it a little bit, then press harder, and then it fades out.
Yep.
So that's pretty common. But I try to do that with all my shapes as well, so that any kind of line, it's never just super abrupt. Like up in the brow, the line doesn't just end. It always, fades out or fades in or, some kind of transition.
Right. Yeah.
Then it just feels really stuck on and awkward. But yeah, I like the no closed shapes thing. I'll have to keep that in the back of my head a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's nice when you have language to describe something that you do, but you maybe don't always know exactly why you do it.
Right.
You just know that all of this looks better if I do it this
right.
way.
It's like in sculptor's intuition or whatever, or just like anybody's intuition. It doesn't look correct, but you don't know why, kind of a thing.
Right.
So yeah, it's just those little tips and tricks that you're just like, oh yeah, okay. So thank you, David Boudreau, if you're watching this.
Yeah, it gives you language to have a roadmap, essentially.
Right.
That's how I look at it.
Right. And it reminds me of in drawing, like thick to thin, in like the weight of lines.
Tapered shaped and thick to thin. Yeah, it's very similar. It's kind of in the same family as that. So I try to apply a lot of old kind of 2D principles into translate what I can here in 3D. I try to keep that stuff in the back of my head as much as I can.
Man,
I find it helpful.
I haven't drawn in so long. I always get asked if I draw as well as sculpt, and I used to a lot, but I haven't in a very, very long time because I feel
time.
There's you only have so much time in your life, to like get good at something, I guess. And if you're
you get to choose a few things.
And if you want to get really good at something, there are people that do both, like Dylan Ekren or whatever, like that can both draw and sculpt, but it's just, you have to kind of equal your time between the two. And I don't know why. Sculpting's my thing, but I do want to. I actually want to get an iPad Pro with like Procreate or Clip Studio and
nice.
Just mess with
that sounds. My girlfriend has one of those. It's fun to play around with. The Apple Pencil's pretty nice, just in terms of what you can get. I would love to have a ZBrush on.
Oh man, yeah.
On an iPad.
Well,
I really want a Mobile Studio Pro, but God knows I don't have $3,000 to throw on one of those right now.
So
not for that at least.
Right. I've heard people use or they're trying to start to use iPads as like tablets when they just plug it into an iMac or a MacBook or
some
something.
Mirroring software. I don't exactly remember what it's called. But it seems like it works pretty well.
Yeah, some people are having success with it because the sensitivity levels on an iPad are greater, just with that pencil and stuff. Yeah,
in terms of accuracy and everything.
Yeah. Just it just feels better, so it's interesting to me. I would want to try it,
right?
See what it was like.
I love my Cintiq, so
yeah.
I have no reason to switch. I've tried other stuff, like I've seen other people's tablets that I've been able to play around with, and in my opinion, just nothing feels the same or compares. Like I think stuff can be like really close, and for the stuff that's really close, it's so much cheaper. Mm-hmm. But I mean I don't think anything compares to a Wacom tablet, in my opinion.
I haven't messed with enough to have an opinion about it, other than I love my Cintiq. I haven't tried anything else, not very much else. So I'd have to try it out. Mm-hmm. I have one of the old Cintiq companions, like
nice,
the old ones.
I had a companion hybrid.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So it's kind of like that, but it has the machine in it.
Right.
It's pretty decent.
The companion hybrid was the Android version.
Oh, right.
And unplugged it.
Yep.
So 13-inch Cintiq normally, Android tablet without it.
Right.
How did you like yours?
It's sitting over there. I haven't used it for a long time.
Okay.
It was good. The real estate is very small.
Yes, absolutely.
So just it's kind of hard to make that work. I think I'm going to add some color in here just to kind of see what it would look like with color. Color.
Color him surprised.
Let's see, what color is this? Maybe move this out. Cool.
Immediately, color just.
Yep.
I feel like
now,
helps everything.
As soon as I see this, I'm just like.
You're like, proportions, huh?
Yeah, his neck is missing.
Proportions are a thing that I forgot existed.
So I got to get the weight. Oh, come on. Select that thing. Sometimes when you try to select with Alt, it doesn't always want to do it. It's like, yeah, I'm not going to select right now.
Can't tell me what to do.
Yep.
I'm ZBrush. I'm the boss.
I'm the boss. Big, thick neck. Love it. I'm going to continue that around to the front a little bit more.
Trying to obsess over her shoulder silhouette there coming up and trying to find that ear head a little bit closer.
So crazy how much an eyelid shape can change the expression. Just barely just touching it. And also
or eyebrows. Eyebrows too.
Yeah.
Eyebrows are crazy. Like eyes are so expressive in general, but you wouldn't think that eyebrows could make a character feel completely different.
Right.
It's just like you said, a little nudge changes it.
Right. All right, let's cover this neck up. Now it's looking like he's got some kind of growth happening.
It's muscle, all right?
Muscle.
Come on. That's what the doctor said, at least. Well, if there's any last-minute things that you want to do to clean up your character before you send it over, we don't have to record that.
Okay.
Like little last-minute things. I am fine with that.
Cool.
I'll probably do like a couple quick remeshes or anything like that. But until then, we'll do one more session, I think.
Okay.
And call it done. Bring it back home.
Sweet. That'd be fun.
Awesome.
She's looking awesome.
She's getting there, yeah, for sure. I'm noticing a few more things now that I zoom out. I think her eyes are actually a little bit too big. And
I want to make his nose wider than the front, like that. Yeah. There he is.
Rhino horn.
Probably bring his cheek. See, I just keep tweaking, man.
I'm gonna spend like 5 minutes cleaning this up really quick before I send it back to you.
Okay.
But I won't make any big changes other than this one last thing that I'm gonna do.
This one last big change.
I promise it's the last. That's how I always am.
Very cool.
There's always more, right?
Yes.
It's Leonardo da Vinci. Art's never finished.
Yeah.
Only abandoned. Famous saying. It's true.
It's totally true.
Abandon my children, though. I can't.
Just gonna put a little bit of a crease on his jaw. Yeah, this guy's fun.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard to choose from any of the concepts because they were all so unique.
I think he needs bigger nostrils. Sorry, I'm just like the front is the hardest with this guy.
Yeah, I mean, there is no front. You have to invent the front.
Right, so I'm gonna invent some bigger nostrils. Not too big, but just to balance out that weight of the nose.
It's a hard weight to balance. It's a lot going on with that schnoz. And schnoz is the appropriate term.
It's true. The thing is
sure.
huge. There we go. There you are, Peter.
Found him.
Found him. There we go. There we go.
Nice.
Yeah, he was missing.
He was in there somewhere.
He was missing those nostrils.
The big old wide schnoz. You gotta really pull him out there.
Okay, sorry, one more thing. I'm just like
one more.
I always do this thing where I will I'll run a crease along the cheekbone to define that plane. And then
yes,
from the eye back like this, just to kind of help
when
me.
I am planing out. Yeah.
And then smooth it back down.
Right. Yeah. It's a good tactic.
Build it up, smooth it down. Build it up, smooth it down.
It works.
Yeah. All right.
I think
yeah.
that is where I'm going to call her done for now until you
cool. I like
get back in and get your hands dirty.
I like the little paint on the lip, the little highlights, little.
Yeah, I just threw that in.
Nice.
I was like just checking some quick proportions.
Yeah, it's cool. Very cool.
Awesome.
Looking good.
Yeah,
check them in.
Looking great too.
In perspective.
Yes.
There we go. Perspective.
Do you sculpt mostly not in perspective?
I'd never sculpt in perspective. I only turned it on to check.
What?
Yeah.
No, I
only turned it on to check.
don't sculpt in perspective a lot as well.
You don't or do?
I don't. I swap back and forth all the time. If I'm doing anything orthographic, I turn off perspective specifically. Or if I'm zoomed in really close, essentially working on a face, I might turn it off a lot.
Yeah. Well, ZBrush hates perspective, to be honest.
For a lot of things.
For a lot of things, yeah. Like just like masking through to both sides when you're working symmetrically.
Always orthographic.
Yeah, it's just like, no, we're going to mess your mask up if you're going to be in perspective.
Yep.
So don't do it.
All right, cool. Well, I guess until the next one.
All right, man. And thanks everybody for watching. See you next time.
See you guys. Hello, everybody who has made it here to the end of the video, where I guess technically I should say goodbye, but either way, be on the lookout for part 3, where Shane and I are going to be trading off our sculpts one final time to kind of finish what we started. Definitely check out Shane Olson's channel if you haven't already. I'm going to put a link down in the description below. I also have a link to that part 3 if that's out already. But until then, you guys have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you then. All right, bye now, guys.